by. Today's video is going to be this Halloween tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to get this Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead sugar skull. So if you're ready, let's get started. To begin this Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead sugar skull look, you want to first, of course, start off with a clean face and clean hands, as well as make sure that your hair is pinned back out of your face. That way you don't get any paint on your hair. And of course, we do want to protect our face by first applying some primer from all the products that we're going to be applying on top. So I'm just going to be using this Sephora mattifying primer. So once the primer is evenly distributed across the face, I'm going to begin by painting the face white using this Ben Nye Clown White face makeup, and I'm also going to be applying this with a foundation brush. This is just from BH Cosmetics. It is damp. I'm going to be applying the white face makeup all over the face, excluding around the eyes, where I will be painting with a darker color in just a moment. So I'm just going to scoop out some of the face makeup onto the back of my hand. That way it's a little easier to work with. And then I'm just going to start painting. If you happen to make any mistakes or get some white in your hair, just take a wet Q-tip and kind of erase it away. Now I find when working with the white clown makeup that it's a lot easier to work in layers, so feel free if you need to start with a thin layer and then go back and reapply. Try and make the look not as streaky, so I'm going to take another foundation brush. This is from Sigma, and I'm going to lightly dampen it and then go over any areas where I feel it looks a little streaky. Also, I forgot to mention that I do have a cup of water sitting in front of me to help dampen my brush as I go along. You're going to want to wait a couple of minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes, at least 2 minutes to 5 minutes, to let the face makeup set a little bit before we move on to the next step. So once you've allowed the makeup to set for a couple of minutes, the next step is very important. It is to make sure that your makeup doesn't move all over the place as we add in other products. So I'm going to be setting it with this e.l.f. high definition powder. This is in clear. It is a white powder. So I'm just going to take some of this with a duo fiber brush. I'm just going to start packing this all over the white. So I'm just going to kind of stipple it on first. Don't be afraid to use a lot of this product. I'm going to take a little bit more of this product on a bigger powder brush. This is a powder brush from Real Technique, and I'm going to very lightly kind of dust this in, blend it in a little bit more. Moving on to the eyes, I'm going to be using this Ben Nye color wheel. This is the Monster Wheel, and instead of just doing all black, I wanted to take a combination of this kind of dark black purpley shade with this dark burgundy shade for the eye sockets. So again, I'm just going to pull a little bit out of the palette onto the back of my hand, and I want a little bit more of that burgundy red color. So just like this. And then I am going to mix that together with a concealer brush. This is from Sigma. It's a synthetic concealer brush. And again, you're going to want to use this product with a damp brush. So I'm just going to mix the two together until I'm satisfied with the color, which should be a very deep burgundy color. But if you have black and you want to use all black, feel free to use that. It's whatever you want. So this is what my color looks like, and I'm going to begin by outlining the socket of the eye, so just the shape that I left around here, and kind of using my eyebrow as a guide. So what I like about this concealer brush is that it has a very fine tip that I can use. If at any point you feel like you've made a mistake, you can always go back with a fine tip brush, a little bit of that white, and kind of just erase your mistakes. one eye done, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Of course, you want to try and get the eyes as symmetrical as possible. The easiest way, of course, is to feel around the natural socket of the eye. Of course, it does not have to be perfect. At the end of the day, this is for Halloween and it's supposed to be for fun. So just get it as even as you possibly can. And just like before, we wanted to set the cream white foundation from moving all over your face. We want to also set this cream from creasing or smudging. So I'm going to be using some eyeshadows to apply on top of it. And I'm going to be using eyeshadows from the Coastal Scents 88 Ultra Shimmer palette, as well as the BH Cosmetics Neutral eyeshadow, the 88 Neutral eyeshadow palette. So for the eyes, right on the eyelids and a little under the lower lid, I'm going to be putting black. So I'm going to be using a matte black eyeshadow. And I'm just going to be using a small shader brush to apply this. And as you can see, it kind of already, when I close my eyes, it already started creasing. So I'm going to go back over really quick with the cream. And then move into using the eyeshadow. Rather than just dragging the eyeshadow on, I am patting and packing it on. I'm then going to go into the shimmer palette from Coastal Scents, and I'm going to take the black shimmery color, and then I'm going to mix this with this burgundy shade from the neutral palette from BH Cosmetics. And I'm just using an e.l.f. Professional Defining Eye Brush to apply this. Put this combination on the remaining part of the eye. And before we move on to finishing the eye sockets, I'm going to line my waterline with a black eyeliner. This is a Maybelline Line Express eyeliner in ebony black. So I'm just going to line my waterline. Eye socket, I do want to draw a green line. This is a NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On Extreme Shine eyeliner in Esmeralda, which is a very pretty green shade. So I'm just going to very carefully outline around the socket. Of course, again, once you're done applying any type of cream on the face, you want to set it with a powder. So I'm going to take this small brush. This is an accent brush from Real Techniques, and a green shadow. The shadow that I'm going to be taking is from the shimmer palette, and I'm just going to use a really bright green shade and just go over that line. Again, I am tapping the green eyeshadow on. Usually for a sugar skull look, there are flower petals around the eye socket, almost like sunflowers, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this thin, small eyeliner that I've been using to kind of erase mistakes, and I'm going to use the same color that I used for the eye socket, just to outline the little scallop or flower petals. You can make your flower petals as big or as small as you like. As you can see, mine are pretty large, so I am overlapping a little bit on the bridge of the nose, but if you want them smaller, make them smaller. Just going to do the same to the other eye. Since I did make a couple of mistakes, I'm going to clean off that brush, dampen it again a little bit, and then take the white clown makeup and clean up any mistakes. Once you have the petals or the little scallops drawn, you want to, of course, go ahead and fill them in with some type of eyeshadow. Since you have the white base, any color that you use should really pop. So I want to use like a golden yellow tone for my flower petals. Again, you can use whatever color you'd like. So I'm going to be using the neutral palette from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to take this kind of golden yellow color here with a small brush. This is just a small round tip brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to go ahead and start filling in my petals. This entire process, as you'll notice, I am just packing the shadow on, lightly pressing it rather than smudging or buffing it on. Petals in your eyes stand out even more. I went ahead and went to Michael's and picked up some jewels. This is from the craft section. It does have an adhesive backing, but it won't really stick to your face. So I'm actually going to use some duo adhesive. This is the eyelash glue, and just like applying your eyelashes, you do need to allow the glue to get tacky. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each jewel and allow it to get tacky before applying it to my face. I got about 10 of each of the bigger jewels and smaller jewels. You can use, of course, whatever you want, and you can opt out from using jewels at all. And I'm just going to randomly place them around the eye. Course, just like with your eyelashes, if you have any glue that's peeking through, it will dry clear. So that's it for the eyes. Like I said, you can go all out and put gems for every single flower petal. You don't have to put any gems at all. Really, it's all up to you. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the nose. For this, I'm going to start off by using my Maybelline Master Precise Felt Tip Eyeliner in black. And I'm going to first outline the nose. Now you can do any type of shape you want. Sometimes they do an upside down spade or a regular spade, or basically this little area here where you can feel the flesh, that's what you're going to want to make black, as if it's not even there. So again, this is your preference. Do whatever shape you like. The felt tip eyeliner to help as a guide for the shape of my nose. Then I'm going to go in with that dark kind of purpley black shade from the Monster Wheel. I'm going to just grab only that shade, which I did use, remember the combination for the eye socket. Put that on the back of my hand. And then again, I'm going to use a smaller brush to fill in the nose. I'm going to use this flat definer brush from Sigma. It's a square flat brush. Again, get it just a little bit damp so the cream is easier to work with. And then I'm just going to start filling her in. Don't be afraid to kind of go in the nostril as well. That way no color is showing. You want to make sure to set that cream. So I'm going to go back with that original kind of rounded shader brush and take the matte black eyeshadow that I used around the lid and fill in the nose. Going back with this flat definer brush that I just used for the nose, I'm going to go in with that dark cream color. And I'm going to apply this on the inside of the lip here just to add some depth. So you just press your lips together like this. It makes a huge difference already. Then I'm going to take the Master Precise Felt Tip pen and I'm going to use this to draw lines across the lips. So I'm going to start in the center, extend it a little bit past the lip, the top and bottom. Continue drawing lines. You want at least about 4 lines on the lip. I'm going to draw a straight line, kind of extending the mouth from the corners. And then kind of continue the teeth mark. Just to make sure everything is nice and deepened, I'm going to go back and deepen the center of the mouth. Of course, mine is going to wear off a little bit because I am talking through the tutorial. Back in with a small eyeliner brush and I'm going to fill in the white a little bit more so it really stands out. Okay, moving on to defining the rest of the face. Now you could leave it just like this, but a Day of the Dead skull usually is pretty intricate, so I'm going to actually draw a couple of flowers. To do so, I want it to be kind of as perfect as possible, so I went out and got these stencils, and these are actually, I think, for fabric, and it's a little sticky. I went ahead and took this on the back of my hand a couple of times to kind of alleviate the stickiness so it doesn't take off any of the makeup, but it's still a little bit sticky. It is, of course, a rose design. Kind of hold it in place a little bit. I'm then going to go back in with a small brush. I think I'm just going to use the same brush that I used for my nose and go in with that deep burgundy color that we used for the eyes and start putting this on the petals of the rose. Try and place it back on and draw some of the leaves underneath the chin with the green. I'm then going to take some eyeshadows, of course, to set that as well. Now you can freehand that if you like, but I like the effect of using a stencil. So I'm going to go into my shimmer palette from Coastal Scents, and I'm going to take this red shade here. It's like a red pink, and I'm going to apply this on top of the rose petal leaves. So I'm just going to go back to the small angled eye shading brush after I've cleaned it off and apply this red to set the cream. Then again, clean that off and go in with a green shadow. I'm going to use the same green that I used to set this with. I also want to use something to fill in this space up here, so I actually found this stencil as well, another floral stencil. And for this, I'm going to just use some eyeshadow. I'm going to mix a couple of colors from the shimmer palette. I'm going to take a really bright pink and mix it with this reddish pink. And for the center, I'm going to use a gold yellow eyeshadow, the same that I used. I'm just going to use a bright gold shadow. To make the flowers stand out even more, I'm going to go ahead and take another one of the gems, and I'm going to place that right in the center of the yellow. And I want a couple of other flowers right next to it, so I'm going to use this smaller stencil and just do the same exact technique, using some eyeshadows to fill it in. Using a shimmery shadow really has a pretty effect once you are moving around in the light. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more jewels in the center. And to make the petals stand out just a little bit more, I kind of want to add a little bit more detail in the actual petals, so I'm going to add a little bit more depth of color in between the petals. So for the pink one, I'm going to take some darker purple and just put it right where the petals start. Then with the orange, I'm going to take a bright yellow. Feel free to continue adding as many decorations as you like. I actually kind of feel like adding a little heart in the center here. And then go over that with a red shimmery shadow. Add some swirly designs on the cheeks using that burgundy cream and a small eyeliner brush. Go in with that dark purple color, add a couple more designs. So this is the finished look. I really hope that you enjoyed watching. Please keep in mind that if you're going to be recreating this look for Halloween, that it is extremely messy as well as pretty time consuming. This took me with filming about 2 hours. So without filming, expect at least an hour, hour and a half of makeup time. And remember that there's no right or wrong way to do this look. You can make it as intricate as you like or as simple as you like. It's really up to you. It is for your enjoyment on Halloween. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I hope that you have a beautiful day and a happy Halloween. Bye!
For a full list of products shown in this video, check out my blog at truebeautylieswithinyou.blogspot.com. And be sure to check out maresmagazine.com.